You know how it is, right? No accounting firm plans to get overwhelmed, but it just kind of happens. You land a few new clients, a big deadline pops up, a key person quits, and boom, suddenly, you, the partners, are buried in emergencies, just fighting fires day in and day out. It feels like the cycle you just can't break. But what if there's a better way? Let's dive into how some of the top firms are getting out of that survival mode and are actually future-proofing their business. Man, this quote it nails it, doesn't it? That feeling when you're growing, you're successful, but it just brings more stress, not more satisfaction. If you're nodding along right now, you are definitely not alone. And look, it's not a sign you failed. Not at all. It's a huge signal that your firm has hit a critical turning point and that the old way of doing things just isn't going to cut it anymore. So this is what we call the firefighting state, right? Instead of actually steering the ship, you're just running around plugging leaks. Your most valuable people, I'm talking about the partners, are totally stuck in the weeds, dealing with little day-to-day problems instead of looking at the big picture and planning for the future. It's exhausting. And let's be honest, it is absolutely not sustainable. And for years, the answer was always so simple, right? We're busy? Okay, just hire more people. But in today's market, that old playbook is causing more problems than it's solving. The whole talent landscape has shifted under our feet. That old model is just completely out of sync with where we are today. So yeah, why is hiring so much harder than it used to be? I mean, this is the question every single firm leader is asking themselves. You need the help, but actually finding the right people, it feels like this impossible uphill battle. So let's break down exactly why that old way of growing is such a struggle right now. When you really look at these hurdles all together, you see this vicious cycle, right? First off, payroll costs are just soaring, so every new hire is a massive financial decision. At the same time, finding people with real experience is unbelievably hard. And okay, let's say you do find someone great. The onboarding takes forever, and with high turnover these days, you might just be starting that whole process over again in a year. It's a model that just hits a ceiling. It forces you to be reactive, and it makes smooth scaling almost impossible. Okay, so if the old model is broken, what's the fix? Well, the really forward-thinking firms, they're making a huge strategic shift. They're looking past their own backyard, past the local talent pool, and they're building something different, truly integrated global support teams. Now, let's be super clear about this. This is not just about outsourcing in the old sense of the word. It's about building a real integrated team. Think of it like this. The global team model combines your U.S. leadership and client expertise with a dedicated, super skilled team somewhere else in the world. And the goal here is not just about saving money, it's about getting that magic combination of scaling up, but doing it with stability. So you might be asking, why India? Well, the advantages are huge. We're talking about a massive pool of qualified accountants who already get U.S. GAAP and tax laws. They've got great communication skills, and a lot of the time, they've already worked with U.S. CPA firms. But here's the real kicker, the time zone advantage. It creates this continuous, round-the-clock workflow. I mean, work is literally getting done while you're sleeping. It's a game changer. Okay, let's just put this side by side. It really makes it clear. On one hand, you've got the old model. It's expensive, it's slow, it's reactive, you're stressed out, and you're limited to whoever you can find locally. But on the other hand, you have the global team model. This thing is built for being proactive. It's scalable, it's stable, it's structured, and it opens up a whole world of talent. It's really the difference between a system that holds you back and one that pushes you forward. All right, so that's the big idea, the what and the why. But what does this actually look like day to day? Let's get practical and look at the specific, high-value things you can start integrating with a global team to see an impact right away. And look, you don't have to change everything overnight. The smart way to do this is to start with the areas that will give you the biggest bang for your buck. There are really 3 high-impact places to begin. First, your core accounting and bookkeeping, the fundamentals. Second, getting a handle on that crazy tax season crunch. And third, dealing with the really specialized work of fund accounting. So when we talk about core accounting, think of it as the engine room of your firm. By handing off things like bank recs, journal entries, and the whole monthly closing process, you do something amazing. You free up your team here in the US to focus on what really moves the needle, high-level client advice, and building those critical relationships. Oh, tax season. Every firm leader knows that feeling of dread, right? Well, this is where a global team model is just a massive win. You can hand off all the prep work for the returns, letting you scale up your capacity like crazy for those few critical months. And you do it without having to hire a bunch of permanent staff you don't need the rest of the year. Your US team just focuses on the final review and delivery. Simple. And if your firm works with investment clients, listen up, because fund accounting is a perfect candidate for this model. You know how technical and detail-oriented this stuff is? NAV calculations, investor reports. It needs insane focus and consistency. A dedicated expert team can just knock this out with incredible precision. They basically become a seamless part of your client's own finance team. Okay, so you've delegated some work and things are running smoothly. That's great. But the real transformation here, it goes way deeper than just getting tasks off your plate. It's about changing the entire mindset of your firm's leadership, from just reacting to today's problems to actually building for tomorrow. Because honestly, the biggest win isn't just having less to do. It's about what you can do when your plate is finally cleared. It's about having the space to think, to plan, to be strategic. It's about finally getting some real, actual breathing room. And this is a real payoff. This is what that breathing room gets you. You get predictable capacity, which means you can actually plan your workflows. You start seeing faster turnarounds and even better quality control because everything is part of a system. And best of all, you finally stop relying on those last-minute, late-night heroics just to hit a deadline. You move from crisis mode to strategic mode. Okay, I know this all sounds good on paper, but how do you really know if your firm is ready for a change like this? Let's talk about some of the telltale signs that it might be time to start thinking differently.
See if any of these hit home for you. Your growth feels more like chaos than control. Hiring is a slow, painful process. Deadlines keep getting pushed back, and you can just feel that your team's morale is taking a hit from all the pressure. Look, these aren't just growing pains. These are serious warning signs that your current system is about to break. This is your cue to build a foundation that can actually support your growth.
You know, at the end of the day, the goal shouldn't be to be the busiest firm around. It should be to be the most balanced and the most effective. The truly successful firms I see today, they aren't the ones where everyone is burning the midnight oil. They're the ones who've built smart, scalable systems, who protect their people from burnout, and who are always, always looking ahead. And this final thought really brings it all home. For every firm leader out there, the big question isn't if you need to adapt, it's how. The future of this industry really belongs to the firms that decide to stop firefighting and finally start building.